The next speaker is Jerome Samraj, School of Management, Pondicherry University.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I thank Professor Chirashri and Malini, and I also thank the chair for this opportunity. So, I have been teaching in Pondicherry University since 2011, and whatever I am presenting today is an outcome of that experience. So immediately after, so I'll be talking about connecting basically what previous speaker, many of the previous speakers have touched upon, like Professor Satish Deshpande and other speakers in the previous session have touched upon. So here what I see was in 2012 there was two students who committed suicide in Anna University. One was Manivannan, a boy who was a bonded labor in a Brooklyn, who was recovered by a collector of Dharmaburi district, and he was educated by that collector, and he scored some 98% in his +2, and he got into Anna University. Anna University is one of the top universities. It's the only top university in Tamil Nadu in terms of technical education. So getting into Anna University is not an easy task. And one other student in the same year called Dhairya Lakshmi, who also committed suicide, and she had also scored around 97% in +2, and after joining Anna University in the second year she committed suicide. So I was wondering, and that's the time when I joined Pondicherry University. So I was wondering how come these brilliant students who have been capable of scoring 97 and 98% in +2 have been reduced to ashes in a span of 2 years, 3 years. How does the system do that? So this is a question which struck me initially, and when I look at my own classroom, the classroom then had a crowd of around 60 students in MA, and in the junior, we have also this integrated course where we have +2 pass-outs coming directly for our masters integrated. So, initially in 2011 the fees was very low. It was around 4,000 per semester. So we had a classroom where there were third generation graduates, second generation graduates, and first generation graduates. And if you see, there were students, my own students, who were masons or loadmen in lorry, who worked as masons, and they worked in, they did all sorts of part-time work. Even girl students work as sales girls in most of the department stores in Pondicherry. So they came from very poor background, and they could sustain in education because the fees was around 4,000 rupees. Then we had a VC who had a very expansionary plan, and all of a sudden he made the fees 16,800 rupees, and the very next year all the students who were daily wages, who were part of the education system, disappeared from the system. And after that, when I started interacting with the students, when I give tests, I came across one or two students from the, not one or two, few students from the vernacular medium, writing their answer script in Tamil language but with English alphabets, like as we type in mobile phone, where you type, you use English alphabets to write your Hindi or Telugu or Tamil. So I found a few students writing in answer sheets, their MSc or MA course answer sheets with kind of Tamil written in English alphabet. So I was wondering how come these students have completed their +2 in English medium or vernacular medium, and they have passed their +2. How come they are in a position that they cannot use a language in a proper way? So what has the system done to them is a question which struck me initially. Then when you see the classroom composition, you get students like who cannot speak English, who cannot understand English, and you get students from affluent, very posh English medium schools. We are very versatile in English. So these students are put together in a system where they are taught in English and where they have to write examination in English. And so when you see this, what happens here is they are given an English course for 2 semesters in case of undergraduation. 4 semesters they are learning English, where all the students who came from 12 years of English medium education and the students who come from 12 years of vernacular medium education are given the same English. So the classroom process, what I feel is a process of constant inferiorization or superiorization based on where you come from. And you have vernacular medium schools, government schools, you have English medium government schools, you have private matriculation schools, you have CBSE school and you have ICSE school, and all of us know where our child can go, where a laborer's child can go. It is not an egalitarian system as such. So the government, by having this different schooling system, is producing inequality, and it is producing students with very unequal capability, and when they come into higher education, they are put into a process of everyday inferiorization within the classroom. And so what happens here is when the most universities do not provide English as a supportive course for English, bridging course for English, and sometimes they provide extra coaching classes, which I feel is a further inferiorization, because they would have to spend more time in classroom than what others would spend. So when you interact with the students, you have students who come with a very clear perspective of what this course is going to be for them, and where are they going after this course. And whereas when you ask the students from the vernacular medium, when first generation graduates who do not have parents who can guide them, they have no aspirations, they are completely blank. And what happens here is, we produce graduates, 4 or 5 or the elites can go to the best of corporate employment or best of universities, and you have a large chunk of local students who at the end of 5 years, they are no more than a casual labor. Like a casual labor who is ready to do whatever work that the master says, that the employer says. You are having a set of students who have nothing more than a cardboard sheet called a degree, and who do not have any skills. So how does this happen? 17 years of education has not produced a significant change in the life of a student. And so what has this education system done to them is the question. So, and on the other side, what happens is, in the classroom, students who are struggling with English, and students who are comfortable with English are sitting in the same classroom, and their comfort with the teacher is determined by that. And if you see where the students sit, where they select their places, who is presenting himself or herself in front of the teacher, or who is hiding behind, is determined by the background. And this determines their classroom interaction. And whenever there are doubts for the students, and we have teachers, all the teachers are brought by the same system, and we all agree in a way with something called as performance-based discrimination, where the toppers are treated with utmost importance, where the poor students, weak students are treated with utmost negligence. And the doubts raised by the toppers, the bright students, the fluent English-speaking students are addressed with utmost care and sincerity, and whereas the students from the vernacular medium are not even treated important. And whenever they raise question, what were you doing when I was teaching this, will be the reply. And in a way, what happens here is, so even though the student may know the answer, they cannot put it in the answer sheet. But even if they have put it, they will write it in a broken language, broken English. And as a teacher, as we find it very easy when it is fluent to correct. And when the answer script is flowing and it is very fluent, the marks also flow. And when you suddenly come across a paper which is struggling, which is very broken, no grammatical errors and sentence making and everything is in a mess, we become stingy. And so what happens is, our bias of with regard to English and the students' difficulty with the language translates into the mark sheet where he is becoming a second grade or just pass student, and it is there in the mark sheet. And more, in our university, we don't have revaluation system. We feel that whatever the teacher does is exactly, it's judgment. The teacher can never commit any error. So the students are not given this choice of revaluation. So what we see here is students are put in a level of intimidation where they cannot question the teacher, and whenever they raise a question, they have the risk of having low marks in the internals, right? And so this is the atmosphere at the higher education classroom. So what you see here is the students are subjected to everyday inferiorization and everyday discrimination. So what I see here is, how does the state goes with the recruitment? How does the university recruit? The university wants me to have a PhD degree in some course or the other, or else it wants a UGC net certificate, that's all. Right, I come from a very different background. I have my caste background, I have my rural urban background, I have my religious background, right? And the university is going to cater students from all across the society, right? How is the university going to ensure that I treat each and every student objectively? Where is the system to ensure that the teacher is not biased? So this is one serious question which because we have even social science teachers are very insensitive to inequality and what inequality can produce, and they don't see students lagging behind is an outcome of an inequality. And say for example, in our university now they have made ID card as an entry, so no public can come into the campus, and people only with identity card or people who know faculty members or anyone in the university can come into the campus. Now, what does it mean to a layman, a casual laborer, or a loadman, or a worker, or a mason, right? What this kind of a rule means to them? Whether he can dream of putting his son or a daughter in such an institution? Well, what does it say about access to higher education to the common people? Is a question which keep on coming to my mind. So, with these observations. So my concluding point is that the system doesn't ensure that we are out of our socialization biases, and unless we do that, we are never going to make life pleasant and egalitarian for the students. And so if at all we talk about reform, we should talk about how are we going to make the individuals who are in higher education more ethical and more egalitarian in their approach, accounting the social inequalities. Thank you.